Hey guys, so some of you have been asking for more comprehensive mage guide, how to gear, how to gem, the different combos, and not just the talent spec. So in this video I'm going to be talking about how to gear your mage, and I'm going to be talking about how to gear your mage first before the talents and the rotations and everything, because quite frankly in this game gear is probably the most important factor, not really skill. Skill definitely does play a really big part in this game now. Game Love has changes so that PvP is a lot more skill orientated and coordination positioning orientated, but gearing is still in my opinion one of the most important things, and if you don't have really good gear, if you gear incorrectly, you're gonna do really badly in PvP. So in this video is going to be assuming that you just started out, you just hit level 70 and you have basically no idea what to gear up. So it's just going to be going from the top to the bottom, what you should get, assuming you have full PvE or you have no gear at all, you're just completely naked. So first order of business, you want PvP gear obviously, and the fastest PvP gear you can get is S2.5. And I would highly recommend you just go through auction house, buy a few with some gold. I don't know if you just started out, you might not have a lot of gold, but that's really essential. I mean, you're gonna die in like 1 or 2 hits, even against undergeared people, if you don't have any form of PvP gear on. So buy S2.5 from the auction house for gold, or you might have some left over from dungeons. So don't sell those. Keep those. So then once you get that, you want 4 pieces of those. And then preferably 4 so you can get a resilience bonus. And if you guys didn't know, resilience is a very important stat. What it does is that it decreases the amount of damage you take from other players. So as you can imagine, this combined with stamina leads you to be much more durable and lets you not die in 1 or 2 shots essentially. So then the next order of business is that you want to get more PvP gear. You want to get 2 pieces of S2 gear, and you may be wondering, why would I get S2 gear? Isn't S2.5 better since it is a bigger number? Not really. S2 is epic, and S2.5 is just some crappy blue gear that it drops in dungeon. It's not that great. You want to get that replaced as soon as possible. And first order of business is that you want to get S2. You want to get the shoulder and you want to get the head first. The reason why you want to get those 2 first is because those are the hardest pieces to get, rating wise for S3, which I'll talk about later. And you want to get those first. They're not very expensive. You'll just have to cap for a few days in order to get it, and just getting 2 pieces of S2 gear will make you significantly more durable. It'll improve your PvP gameplay so much, because it has a bonus where if you have 2 pieces of them on at the same time, then you get 110 extra resilience, which really does add up assuming that you don't have any PvP gear beforehand. So then once you get 2 out of 6 S2 gear, then you want to start working for the accessories. And in my opinion, the first thing you want to work towards is the rings. And you may be asking why the rings. It's because they're the cheapest, and you don't want to be saving up 50,000 points for a weapon or doing anything crazy like that. You just want to be getting gear as fast as you can. And then I believe it's the necklace and then the cloak. And then by the time you get all of this, S2.5, 2 out of 6 S2, and all the accessories, by the time you get that, then you want to be thinking about more damage, and you also want to be thinking about S3. So then, next order of business is that you want the weapon, and unfortunately, there's no easy way to get the weapon. You can get the S2 of him, which is a okay replacement, but I recommend you just save the points for something else because it's really expensive, even if it's 3 times cheaper than before. So begin running FML first of all. You want FML for multiple reasons, and it's because FML has by far the best mage gear. And then I think I forgot to mention, get the wand. Buy the PvP wand. That's really important. It's really cheap as well, so get that. You'll be using it for a long time. But for the weapons, and this is where we're going to be shifting away from PvP gear and into PvE gear. And for the first weapon, you want to run FML for this staff right here, the blue mage staff. It's actually really good. It's not that bad at all. It's nothing near as good as the epic weapons later on, but it'll do for now. So aim for that. And it drops in FML. And then the 2 things you want to aim for FML is the scanner weapon. You want to get the fan first, and the fan will increase your damage by so much. By that time you will have a pretty good understanding of your class anyways, And then right after you get, and at the same time you want to work towards the trinket. And then the trinket is you want to get it after you get all your armor, just because the trinket is kind of pricey-ish. Maybe you want to get it at the same time as your wand, but you want the trinket, the frostblast trinket in specific. Don't get the other ones, they're not that great. So now that we're looking at this, you can see that we still have our S2.5 from the very beginning, and it's time that we change that. And at this point you're well geared enough that you can begin working on S3. You can work on your S3 gear, however you want, depending on what rating you are at this point. You can get different pieces at different times, but with the gear you have right now, it should be more than feasible to get 4 out of 6 S3 now, especially with the new Q system. So just get all this. Do not go for the hood or the shoulders quite yet, since those aren't really as necessary unless you want to transmod. Okay, at this point you're pretty well geared. You can get to 2500 wherever you want with this kind of gear, assuming you have good enough gems, which I'll talk about in my next video. So how do we improve upon this? So at this point we want more PvE gear, and the reason why is because we need more damage. By the time you get to this amount of gear, you might have realized that healer mage teams are really good, so you don't need to wear full PvP. It's only important in the very beginning, since everyone's really squishy. It's kind of like a sudden death moment, but then at higher PvP, everyone's really tough, everyone's really bulky, so you're gonna need a lot of HP to take down high rating teams. So first you're gonna be wanting the FML set. That's probably the most important piece of gear you want if you want to do really well as a mage, especially in 2s. Maybe not so much in 4s, but in 2s is really imperative. It makes a really big difference. After that you want the neck and the the neck and the trinket, the FCL set. Once you get that, then at this point you should easily be able to get the 2500, 2600 rating in 2s or even in 4s, and assuming you're really well gemmed. If you don't have any good gems, then you're gonna be stuck in 2000 forever. So then now you want to be changing your wand. You want to get the new weapons, and you can keep the fan if you have the upgraded fan, but if you have the regular fan, then you want to change it to the S3 weapons, and you also want to get the S3 wand. The reason why is because you lose a lot of resilience from all this PvE gear, and yep, that's really important. Keep the trinket unless you really want to try the other trinkets, but you definitely need the S2 trinket for a fact. It's just so important for the cooldown reduction. So then at this point you're pretty much fully geared. There's not really anything else you can do. You can experiment, but for the most part this is gonna be the best gear setup. You can get to any kind of rating you want. You can be the highest rating team with this kind of gear. Obviously you need the skill, you obviously need the gems, you obviously need the luck and the partner to do it, but this is pretty much the gear setup you want for the end game for update 2.8.0. So tell me guys if you found this helpful, tell me guys if you found this useful, and if you guys disagree with anything, please tell me. We can discuss it out, and if I agree with you, then I'll have an updated guide, mention your name, do all the good stuff. I'm out to help you guys, and if I don't want to give out bad information. So if you think I'm giving out faulty information, please tell me. We'll talk about it, and we'll discuss it, and maybe I'll learn something new. So anyways, Pohdoh here, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye guys.